Hey, so I just wanted to film this short little video and show you how I'm actually pulling my leads and I'm sorting that data in order to go ahead and call them. This is how I got my first deal and how I got my next 10. And then now I have an integrator who actually does this for me. But I wanted to show you how you can get your first deal as well. So I actually use a software called Propstream. Now this is a really great software. There's a whole bunch you can choose from, but this is one of my favorites. And if you send me a message, I'll actually show you how to get a free month. So this is specific to Propstream. So anyways, on Propstream right here, I'm looking in Maricopa County where I live, and you can tell there's a whole lot of listings available. What is that? Or these aren't actually all listings. This is just 1.72 million homes available that they actually have on Propstream. Now, so we're actually going to target what I like to target, which is a low equity list, and I focus on market listings. So I deal directly with agents. And so in order to get one of those lists, you're going to open up your filters tab here, and there are so many good things to search from, and you can do a number of different kind of leads. There's some really good auto options as well that will automatically populate a lot of those filters. I'm going to show you a little pro tip. If you've already pulled a list before and you really liked the filters that you already had, you can go down to your properties and actually go to that saved list and click on it. Go over to this right-hand side where it says View List Filters, and you can see the list filters that produced this particular list. I'm going to click Rerun Search right now. Now you can see from that 1.72 million properties, it actually brought us down to 460. So this is a really niche list, really good list to go for. There's usually a lot of motivation here. Now when I go up to the filter, you're going to see some of the filters that I populated to get this list. Now I'm going for somebody in the situation that they just bought a year ago, 2 years ago, and they have a relocation, a job transfer, a death in the family, divorce, something like that that's causing them to sell. And so these filters over here are what I've kind of curated to be able to find those leads. Now, right here, you're going to see that I did an owner-occupied. Yes, I'm not looking for any landlords. Residential, single-family townhome. If you want to focus on multifamily, that's great. That's not my focus. I'm making sure it's on market, listed with an agent, active for sale, and I'm going to keep it underneath that 900,000. This number will change depending on your market. Here in Arizona, our luxuries kind of start at like 800,000, 900,000, even $1 million. So anything under than that, I'm targeting just kind of that, just middle class to lower middle class leads, and so that's usually going to be less than 900,000. Now, years of ownership. This is a really smart way to target low equity, because if they've only owned it for less than 3 years, they haven't had much time to build up any appreciation as well as any equity pay down. And so that's kind of what the thought process is, as well as, hey, the last 3 years, there's been some really great interest rates, and those interest rates are just jacked up now. So anybody who is selling right now that purchased in the last 3 years most likely has a much more preferable interest rate. And when I'm trying to purchase a home subject to, what I'm doing is I'm trying to capture that low interest rate and cash flow with that. So this is a great way to target that. You can do this with any conventional loan, any traditional loan type. Why I'm choosing these is just to avoid the reverse mortgages, avoid the construction loans, things that typically have either a higher interest rate or don't have the ability to be purchased subject to. So these are the filters I'm using currently. You can definitely pause and look through these. Just copy this exact same one. Go over to our unique properties over here, and I'm going to select everything. Now this is everything on the list that fits those filter criteria, and I'm going to add these to a list. I usually like to be very specific with my list in my organization, because you're going to be pulling a lot of leads, and so it's important to know where everything is. I already have a list I made right before this video, so I'm going to add these and I'm going to go over to my properties. Go down to the marketing list. So this is where it's going to show up in your marketing list down here. YouTube test poll. So it's down here. Got a bunch of properties. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click everything here. And then I'm going to go over to my little cog wheel, settings wheel. And this is going to control what data actually gets exported when I pull these leads from the system. Now what I'm really looking for is under open loan. I want to do, or I'm sorry, calculations. I want to do estimated remaining balance of open loan. Now that is going to show me what Propstream thinks their mortgage balance is. That's really going to be really important in the next step. Then on the MLS, I want the MLS amount. And for ease of access, you can definitely do the agent phone, agent email. Those are really good to have on there as well. Other than that, that's the only information I really need other than what they already populate. I'm going to hit apply and save, and then I'm going to export all these. Again, I like to be pretty organized with my stuff. You're going to be coming across a whole lot of leads, and so it's important to be as organized as you can be. So right here, I pulled all my stuff. I'm going to put it into my Maricopa test poll. Here we go, and this is going to how it's going to show up. It's usually a pretty chaotic Excel sheet or CSV file, and we don't need a lot of this data, at least for what we're going to do with it. And so I'm just going to clean this up. So I'm going over here and just deleting all this data. And then I want estimated balance of open loans. That's the mortgage amount. And then I want the MLS amount right here. And so this is the list price. And this is actually how we're going to find the true equity, or true estimated equity at least. This stuff I don't need, so I'm just going to delete for now. But in order to find the actual equity, I've got to make a little, oops, if I can even. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to make a simple little calculation. And so you can see here, I'm just going to go MLS amount minus the open loan amount. All right, now I have to do a little calculation to actually get that equity percentage. And so what I'm going to do is just do equals, and I'm going to go, oops, go 1 minus, this is the actual mortgage amount, divided by the MLS amount. And that's going to give us the actual estimated percentage. And so we can format this cell as a %. And then we're going to be able to see the actual estimated equity percentage. And so this is going to give us a much more detailed or much more accurate understanding of where they are at than Propstream is able to do. And so what I do now is I usually add a filter, and we do that right over here, create a filter. And I usually like to filter by the equity percentage, and I try to pull out the outliers because there's going to be some outliers every time you run the search. That's totally fine. It may be anything under maybe 26%. I mean, you don't want to get into a deal with negative equity, so I'm maybe going to pull these and just clean up the data, delete these rows. And then, maybe anybody over like 15%, well, they're probably going to have a better time selling traditionally. And so I'm going to pull, we'll go up to like 16. This all the way down. See, hey, look, these are great leads if you want to do a seller finance or a hybrid deal. But as far as a straight sub 2 goes, it's going to be hard to structure something where you're putting down, nearly 60% equity. And so I'm going to highlight all these. And so out of that, like nearly 500 leads, look, we actually got down to, let's see, about 100. And this is even, I can narrow this down even more. Really the 10%, around 10% up, and maybe even these might not even be a good idea, but I'd still call them just to make sure. So what is that? That's really only like 60 leads that could have like a strong likelihood that they would want to sell, or a sub 2 offer would be beneficial for them. And so this is how I go through and I actually make and actually organize this data. Now from here, it's just however you want to keep track of your stuff. I like to put notes. Sometimes I'll put last contact date. And as I'm going through, you already have the agent's number right here. So what I like to do is I like to just, hey, if I call them up, oh, well, hey, wants, letter of intent. And so I'm going to go ahead and make that note. And I'm going to say, okay, well, last time I talked to him was on the 21st. And, that way I can just kind of keep track of this. This is like almost like a built-in CRM, but, it's free. All you got to do is pay for the Propstream, and like I said, I'll hook you guys up with a free month. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions on it, please let me know. I'm always happy to help. And yep, let's get these deals, guys.